Wow. Wow, we're here. We're live. It's been a day.
I don't think it's fair to even say that anymore.
No, it isn't even fair. Let's just roll.
It's always
Mondays are. I like to pretend I'm a pirate on Mondays and just attack.
Full steam ahead.
Yeah, I enjoy Mondays, but at the end of a broadside, when the boat has been splintered, it's you feel a little tired. You know, I enjoy. I've had fun. You know,
dodging cannonballs. Chris 388 says, "Arg, ain't that the truth, Chris? Ain't that the truth?" What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ramblestream. This is episode number 87.
Also, somewhat sporadically, I've been pre-gaming.
He has been. I came in and there was music bumping and there were rave lights on. I swear. Yeah,
it was pretty wild in here. just me and myself. And me and myself and this bottle of Wolfert.
You guys know the drill.
Actually, it was a different bottle. But
it's a different bottle of Wolfert, but still Wolfert nonetheless. That's what we're drinking today.
Yes, we are. Wolfert Reserve 23 with a Halcyon on the cover. Halcyon 450.
You guys can't see that. I don't know why I'm holding it up. You can't see it.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's a little dark.
It's a lovely little bottle.
Yes, it is beautiful. You guys know the drill, though. If you're new here, this is what you do. He's chugging it straight out the thing, straight out the carton, if you will. What's your name? What do you ramble on? You can ramble on just about anything. A Vespa,
Cushman,
sailboat. You can walk and ramble. So I should start using.
You are among friends here.
Yes. So go ahead and say what you ramble on, what you're drinking, where you're from. If you have a Janus motorcycle, let us know the model and the number on the number plate. We would love to see you guys comment. Again, just another reminder for you guys tonight. We don't say this every week, and I think we should. If you guys have any questions at all about us, about Janus, about the models, go ahead and throw them in the comments. We'll get to them.
Yeah, we do say that a lot, but I have to say, last week's Ramblestream, the comments were pretty cool.
Popping off.
Really, that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
And I know I've said this many times before, but we are on the screen here. We get to talk. I literally have a microphone in front of my face, which is a bad sign because rambling has negative connotations in the modern world, mostly having to do with talking without having a real point.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that.
This guy.
Connotation as well. But this is what we're all here for.
Right.
We have the microphones, but you have a keyboard.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh, yeah. So you can type, well, I'm not going to say you can type anything you want.
Not anything.
Because please
be kind.
This is a we live in a civilized society.
Sometimes.
No, we do. We live in a civilized society, and I don't need to tell you what you can type. Old school. Old school. I'm looking at you.
Hey, not to call anybody out, but old school, right?
So please, the comments last week were awesome.
Yeah.
We had a really good time. We're well lubricated this evening, or at least
speak for yourself.
And we're looking forward to a really good ramble stream. And the best way that we can make that, the best thing that you all can do to make that happen is post up some good comments.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
let's get started.
Referee says, keyboard commando, salute, signing in. Anything I want, Riggedy Alps says. Good one. I get the joke, and I appreciate it. Chris Smith says, rode my 1981 Suzuki GS 450E last night to the Cleveland Moto podcast. All Janus folks are invited to AMA Vintage Days drinking Maker's Mark bourbon.
Well said.
That is well said. One of Richard's favorites.
And if you are not familiar with the Cleveland folks and their podcast, Cleveland Moto podcast, you should tune in. Several of our Janus employees are regular listeners and contributors, I should say. I've been on a couple of times. In some ways, it's like Jansen and me, but with like 8 people.
which is fun.
So it's very rambling.
It would be if there were
And they
4
cover
Jansons.
news. I mean, we should model ourselves more on what they do.
Nah. They've got their show, we've got ours, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, there's no harm in a little.
But really, if you put 4 Jansons and 4 Richards in one room, I think I would be really terrified as to what would happen.
It would be apocalyptic.
It would end the world. Semtex says, got stopped at the local Waba Grill, WABA Grill last week and handed out some of Mitch's brochures.
Nice.
# Janus Effect. What is a Waba Grill? Is that a chain?
I don't know.
I don't know either. What was the last H450 on the stand? Do we know that?
The last Halcyon 450. I don't have it off the top of my head.
We don't know.
Well, we will be featuring some builds this evening, so
Yes.
we can cover that.
Yes. Let's see. Who else is here? We got old school. I'm kind of scared to put your comment up, my guy. An encounter.
Do it.
Outriding on
You know
a
what?
glorious.
Hold on. Old
Yes.
school is a member of a civilized society.
He is.
He knows what he can post.
All right. I just don't know what I'm allowed to
Old
say.
school, I'm holding you to this.
Yeah, I just don't know what I'm.
Don't
I
let
know
me
what I'm allowed
down.
to
Don't let
say.
me down.
An encounter outriding on a glorious, very hot day. Stopped a dude on his hog, a big boy from Ohio, rumbling to Salem, Massachusetts.
Rambling.
Looks at my Halcyon 250 and remarks, farm equipment. And my reply, the bird. I appreciate that.
Farm equipment.
I appreciate.
Wow.
That was a good one. I'm here for that one.
Wow. Okay. I don't think I've ever heard that as a Janus diss.
Yeah, that's kind of a new one. We should put
That's
that.
totally new. No, that you don't have to even do your comment.
No,
section.
that's it. It's done.
Farm equipment.
Farm equipment is great. I would love to hear if for all y'all Janus owners in the chat, I would love to hear what are the most unique comments, both positive and negative. I'm just so curious about what you guys hear. Hydrochloride says howdy. That's it.
Hydrochloride. I recognize that name.
Yeah, me too.
Not a first.
Not a first. West Virginia here. Halcyon
Sipping on
450
life.
number 337 and a CB1000C. Hot wheel rat rods, sipping on life. What does
on
that
life.
taste like? Curious.
Tastes pretty good.
Gary Smith here. Richard, go ahead and read that. I've read it the last 4 times.
You know what? I'm not making fun of him for this.
No.
This is like what we should be promoting.
Yes.
This okay.
Gary does it right
Hi.
every single
From
time.
East Lansing, Michigan. Halcyon 50, number 11. Halcyon 250, number 79. Halcyon 450, number 3. Phoenix 250, number 79. Griffin 250, number 163. Also, 1972 Triumph Trident, 1980 Honda CM200, which I'm actually not super familiar with. 1990 Harley Davidson 883 Sportster, solid. 2017 Ural Gear Up, and he is sipping on a Dr. Pepper
His famous.
Zero.
His famous. I love how routine people are like that.
Well, he has admitted that it is a copy and paste.
Yeah.
It's we have an agenda that we copy from the previous week and then we update it. Gary does too.
Hey, I appreciate it.
There's a lot of preparation that goes into the
Yeah,
ramble
but we
stream.
backspace a little bit and kind of type in the real stuff. I just saw Grant. Grant said 388 was up today to.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, Grant Longenbaugh is our marketing and sales maestro, and he is chiming in, telling you all what the latest Halcyon 250 or 450 is on the stand.
388. Let's see.
I'm getting real close to the mic tonight.
Hey, sometimes you gotta, Goshen Harley is that? Yeah, I think Goshen Harley was one of the names that was given to a Halcyon in the same line as farm
Goshen
equipment.
Harley. Okay.
A Goshen Harley. I don't know if that's good or bad.
I don't know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Harley Davidson. I mean,
That's fair.
that's fair. If you think about it in terms of a century, let's
Yeah.
not talk about this decade.
Yeah. Over the long grand scheme of things.
Yeah. We all love our Harley Davidsons.
I don't.
I would buy her. I'd ride a panhead.
I don't think.
Maybe a knucklehead.
I don't think I would ride a Harley.
Okay. Well, keep your opinions to yourself. As some of our
No.
listeners have told us,
Yeah.
you need to keep your opinions to yourself.
I heard someone say we're feeling real rambly today, so just a warning.
We being me.
Richard and I'm floating off the
Chances along the ride.
residuals. I heard someone say, just because you have an opinion doesn't mean it needs to be spoken.
There you go.
Hey, you're watching our show though.
Okay.
So
My name is Richard Worsham, co-founder and designer here at Janus Motorcycles. I ramble with a 2018 Halcyon 250 number 68 and a 2009 KLR 650, which I just broke the clutch pusher on last night. It was a really stupid move.
we can go into that later.
I'm still recovering from my shame and my frustrations with myself. I'm trying to rebuild the engine.
You gonna write up postmortem?
No, I'm just gonna fix it. I'm gonna buy new parts. And a Cushman Truckster, 1980 Cushman Truckster, which is also not starting. So basically, my mechanical life right now, and carburetors and clutches are frustrating me. But that's the rambling life.
That's part of it.
And tonight I'm sipping on Wolfert Reserve 23, and I'm sipping on Wolfert Starter Sugar Shine, which I started off the evening with. I got to finish the Sugar Shine before I move on to
That's fair. That's fair. My name is Jansen. I'm coming to you live.
Moving on.
In the paint booth. Also sipping on, or not also, I am sipping on some Halcyon Reserve 23 Starter here. And I ramble in a Tesla, which Richard says I can't, but rules be damned, you know?
Cool. I mean, sorry, that was dismissive. Tell us,
cool.
We can work more on how you can actually ramble on a Tesla.
Well, I mean, is it not?
This gets to a point that I was riding my 250 a couple of days ago, and I was thinking about electric motorcycles. This is going to be controversial. Heads up, folks.
Controversy sells, baby.
And I was thinking, for the longest time, I've been trying to support electric motorcycles. Mm-hmm. I do believe that you can ramble on an electric motorcycle.
Oh, this is going to be a hot take. Holy cow. Okay. Yeah.
And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what?
No.
This is a civilized society, so I can't say what I'm actually going to say. Baloney. I don't think you can.
Bull honky.
I don't think you can.
Okay.
They just don't have the juice. They don't have the experience.
They literally have the juice.
They
Richard.
don't. No, they don't. Why are we on these bikes in the first place? We are on these machines because they speak to us. Uh-huh. An electric motorcycle doesn't speak to you.
It goes, wee. It definitely does. It's got a nice little whistle.
It doesn't.
Okay. So
I'm sorry, we're getting really hot take there.
Let's table that.
Okay.
Do you guys want to hear us ramble about that at a later date?
Okay.
Because I feel like there's something there. I think you can. I think you can 100% ramble on an electric vehicle, whether it has two wheels or four. I'm a firm believer that rambling, and I know I'm speaking to like the connoisseur of rambling, the one who doctored everything together and you know exactly what it is. But I think that rambling is more of the experience of riding or driving than it actually is like working on. And when I think of the experience driving in my Tesla versus my wife's minivan, and I guess both of those are bad examples.
Yes.
I feel like
minivan is basically internal combustion subjected to like absolute, like there is nothing, like it is the worst possible example of internal combustion that you can ever imagine. Well, and I will say that like I can't do it.
I thought I couldn't.
You did though.
And it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice.
All right.
It's nice. But back to the electric thing.
Yeah, it's nice because it makes your children be further away from you.
No, that's not true at all. They're just as loud. It's the sound is exactly the same. But it's definitely, okay, hydrochloride says rambling is a feeling, yes. And the feeling feels the same on both a internal combustion engine motorcycle versus an electric motorcycle. Anyway, we can fight about that later.
We will.
We will fight about that later, and it won't be on stream. If I have a black eye tomorrow, you'll know who did it. Richard, do you have a poem prepared for us to kind of bring the level of hostility down a couple notches.
I had 2 poems selected. I wasn't sure which one to do.
It's like advocating for gas-powered hair dryers, hydrochloride.
See, one of these is like more. I think we're gonna go with the one I wanted to read instead of the one I chose.
Do it.
Sorry. So the one I chose was a really good poem that I've never read. Actually, I've literally never read it. But the one that I actually want to read is. Sorry, we're gonna have to. We're changing gears here.
Jeff Blind says, "Can't feel an electric motor like you can a gas-powered combustion engine."
Hell yeah.
Which, yes, but you can't get the same amount of torque out of a combustion engine as you can.
Yeah, you can.
No, you can.
Supercharge it.
Okay. No. It's different. It's different. However, a supercharged Halcyon 250 would be absolutely insane.
Sorry, I'm changing gears midstream.
No, I'm riffing off these comments here. People
keep riffing.
People who do electric do it because they want to plug in. They can't wrench. Hey man, I'll have you know, I was in the service department at Janus Motorcycles for an entire year. That's it. Just a whole year. And I could wrench on a motorcycle only because my
page 59.
My
all right, this is the one I wanted.
My mentor, John Schwarzenegger, taught me.
All right, this is a little more salty.
An entire year. Thank you for recognizing the stature of that 1 year.
All right, this is a poem by Richard Wilbur, who I'm just going back to because it's my man. This is like hot, salty summer. Right?
We're in it.
Y'all ready? Okay. Piccola Commedia. He is no one I really know, the sun-charred, gaunt young man by the highway's edge in Kansas 30-odd years ago. On a tourist cabin veranda, 2 middle-aged women sat, one in a white dress, fat, with a rattling glass in her hand, called, "Son, don't you feel the heat? Get up here into the shade." Like a good boy, I obeyed, and was given a crate for a seat and an orange crush and a gin. "This state," she said, "is hell." Her thin friend cackled, "Well, dear, you've got to fight sin with sin." "No harm in a drink, my stars," said the fat one, jerking her head. "And I'll take no lip from Ed, him with his damn cigars." Laughter. A combine whined on past, and dry grass bent in the backwash. Liquor went like an ice pick into my mind. Beneath her skirt, I spied 2 sea cows on a floe. "Go talk to Mary, Joe, son. She's reading a book inside." As I gangled in at the door, a pink girl, curled in a chair, looked up with an ingenue stare. Screenland lay on the floor. Amazed by her starlet's pout and the way her eyebrows arched, I felt both drowned and parched. Desire leapt up like a trout. "Hello," she said, and her gum gave a calculating crack. At once, from the lightless back of the room, there came the grumble of someone heaving from a bed, a Zippo's click and flare, then, more and more apparent, the shuffling form of Ed, who neither looked nor spoke, but moved in profile by, blinking one gelid eye in his elected smoke. This is something I've never told, and some of it I forget. But the heat, I can feel it yet, in that conniving cold. There's the heat wave for you.
I like that one. That one was probably my favorite that we've read. It just feels very familiar somehow. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's really freaking hot or what, but it just feels very human.
There you go.
It feels very human.
There you go.
Now, thank you, Richard, for that poem. That was great. That was legitimately one of my favorite ones. We're going to move on to a fan favorite segment called Builds of the Week, brought to you by Mitch McLean. If you guys need any more information about Janus motorcycles, if you want to buy one, if you want to look at one, if you want to ride one, call Mitch. He's your guy. So he has put together this list of magnificent motorcycles for us to take a look at. Give me 1 second here. Pull it up. Okay. First up, we've got Glenda. This is her Halcyon 250 number.
Glenda.
This is 1,197. Now, lately I've been cheating a little bit, and I've been able to see what colors these bikes were, but I haven't looked at these ones. So
You've been peeking?
I haven't peeking, but the times we've been peeking, I haven't guessed. So
Okay.
In my defense, I'm not fully cheating.
Well, I have literally not looked at this album, so I have no idea.
Oh,
Well, there we go.
there it is. Nice little visor. Ooh, is that black?
So we have a Halcyon 250 this is not a frame match bike. This is our lovely Milwaukee blue.
I really like that blue.
It's solid. I remember we had a Halcyon, the first bike we did in this color was a Halcyon 50.
Ooh.
And it did have chrome fenders, which we do not offer.
Ooh.
It looked really good. We
That's
photographed it in front of a bunch of cows. On some,
That feels
some
right.
of Indiana Road.
That feels right.
You can see the fans in the picture there.
Yeah.
It's really hot.
It's
here
warm.
in Indiana. We're in the heat dome. Oh, look at that. That's
a great shot.
a protective film on the COSO instrument panel.
That's a good shot.
Book rack. Very nice. And
They
they,
always
and they haven't had their number plate painted yet, and so there's a little sticky note on the headlight telling you what number it is. What we got black pinstripe?
I think it's black.
all
yeah.
over. Yep, very nice.
We don't offer a navy, do we? Like a navy pinstripe?
We don't, but of course, as I hope you all understand, we can do different color pinstripes much easier than we can do primary color powder coat. So we can offer all kinds of custom pinstripe colors.
Yeah. I think that would have been sharp. I think the black is sharp. The navy would have been even.
Navy wouldn't be as quite as high contrast.
Right.
1197, really beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got?
Glenda,
what are we
that's a
looking at
great
this
bike.
Yeah,
Now
great work, Brenda.
we're looking at
Brenda.
Kevin's Halcyon 250 number. This is number 1,202. This is Kevin's here. I've got a feeling that.
So not a frame match.
Okay. Got all the bits and bobs. I'm gonna guess. Ooh, the blood, the ox blood. See,
Okay,
it gave it away.
That's a telltale sign.
I'm gonna guess cream. Gosh, that's such a cheap answer.
That's a cheap answer. I'm gonna say we're gonna go with vintage red.
Okay.
Boom! And I did not see this coming. Is it? It is.
It is. It's vintage red. That first one, and again, it's probably our little monitor here. It looks orange.
It looks very coppery.
It looks coppery orange. I'm like, whoa.
They shouldn't. Well, one of the things I wrote down on my list is Janus Motorcycles Ramblestream needs a better monitor.
Yes,
because we can't see the colors.
It's so bad.
But I think that it is vintage red.
It does look very vintage red, with the
Very
little
nice.
silver pinstripe. That
Solid.
looks so good.
I can't believe I got that right.
That was crazy. I wouldn't have guessed the vintage red with the oxblood because I like the contrast.
That
on
is
the
definitely
seat.
vintage red. Nice. Copper feather logo. This is the new feather logo.
That looks real nice. I like the silver on the
Knobby
vintage
tires?
red.
Not stock tires.
That's the last one. I really like the silver pinstripe on the red. That's really sharp. And next, and our last one is Robert and Judy's
Judy.
Halcyon 450, number 384. What an interesting.
Got a little rear angle. This is an angle you will never see of a Halcyon 450 in real life.
In the wild.
With outside the factory. This is the oil tank.
I love.
With its little Easter egg.
Yeah, I love all the little
TT
stickers.
turtle top logo on the back. There's your fuel cap telling you what oil to put in it.
What is our green?
Several greens.
Our not the British.
BRG.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
We have Indy Racing
Indy
Green.
Racing Green.
And BRG, which are deceptive names because BRG is actually our Indy Racing Green. If you're a Jaguar fan,
That's
you'll know.
that's
So
what I'm-
you're
that's what I'm
guessing. You're
That's what
guessing.
I'm guessing.
British Racing Green.
It feels
Okay.
off. It feels off already, but I
I'm
think I'm gonna stick with
guessing
it.
this is going to be. What am I going to guess?
I'm scared to go to the next one because it might be it.
I'm guessing cream.
Cream? Okay, it wasn't it. Dang
I
it.
should have gone with the same one.
Dang it. What are the chances? Another vintage red, but this time with the gold pinstripe, which is
Double gold,
so good.
which again looks very orange on our monitor.
Yep.
Fishtail, or sorry, ducktail fenders.
Ducktail.
Very nice.
I also what is this?
So
what is this thing here?
that is a production placeholder for the rear shocks. So before they put the rear shocks on, they can stick those on.
So it holds
Jared, our laser cutter, made those for us.
That's
and
nice.
so they can just stick it in there while they're building the bike. If for some reason they don't want to put the shocks on at that point. And I actually don't know the story there.
holds
We
the
do
swing
have
arm
rear shocks in stock. So don't worry.
up. That looks
Looking really good.
so sharp. Ooh, nice
Ooh,
little
look at that
detail
shot
shot.
right there.
Shoot. This is art.
And you can see that, go back to that last image, you can see that the rear wheel is moved forward. It looks kind of off center. That's just because it hasn't been tensioned yet with the chain.
That makes sense.
Looking really good.
Airbox.
Lots of good shots there from Mitch. Thank you, Mitch. And we have saddle brown.
That's the play. With the vintage red, I love the saddle brown. Little book rack. Nice little engraved. That looks like one of the newer engraved fuel caps.
Very nice.
Super sharp. Now we're on the ground here.
Ooh, there we go.
There's a money
Packed.
shot.
Loaded. Look
There's
at that.
the
Fishtail
money shot.
exhausts. 2 mirrors. Number plate. Headlight visor. Book rack. Wow. I mean, that is loaded. That is a beautiful Janus motorcycle right there.
Man. The gold really pulls out the...
Wow, look at this. We got lots of shots.
So many pictures. I love it. Hey, other side.
The fuel bottle mount. They have gone all out on this one.
That
Beautiful
is
bike.
an all out, every option practically. That looks so good. Great work, Robert and Judy. That looks so good. Now, Richard, I see these pistons. These piston heads. Sorry.
Just pistons, not piston heads.
Just pistons.
We got a lot of pistons out here.
Yeah, we do.
We
do. We have a few.
The things of this world we're going to talk about this evening are.
Some of them have holes in them that aren't supposed to be there. It seems like.
Yeah, well, those are the ones that I collect. those are the ones that I notice. The ones that work, they're in your motorcycle.
The ones that don't are right here on this.
There aren't a
table.
whole lot that have these issues, but I thought for the thing of this world this evening we would talk about pistons. So we'll start off with the smallest of all, which is, I don't know if we can actually see this.
That looks super tiny. I didn't set up the overhead cam.
We
dang
put
it.
this up against the background. Can you all see this?
Super tiny.
You can't really see it, but this is a little guy. This is a 50cc moped piston.
That thing is hauling in that cylinder.
This one is probably out of a Pook 50 moped from like the I'm going to guess and say 1978. 2 rings. This is about as small. Well, chainsaw pistons get smaller than this, but 23 cc's is the smallest piston I've ever seen.
That thing is tiny.
Next, we're going to move up to, this is actually a Halcyon 50 piston.
A little bigger.
A little bigger. And this is a 250 piston. And you all can't see, but there's a massive...
You could probably see
the amount of damage done to this piston.
It's brutal.
You can see through it. Well, let's just say y'all can probably see my hand through the back of this piston. This is a 250 piston that what's happened is the valve has broken, and then it's hammered a hole in the top of the piston head. We're starting off just describing this, and this is a 450 piston. So just so y'all can see the difference, 450 up here. And we got a 250 and a 50. So you can basically see we've close to doubled the size of the pistons going up the chain. And this is why an electric motorcycle will never have the heartbeat of an internal combustion engine.
Just physically, yes.
Physically and metaphorically and analogically and
What
allegorically.
other leads you got?
This is the heartbeat of a internal combustion engine. This guy on a 50cc beats every single time there's a combustion cycle. Mm-hmm. This guy is being pushed down by an explosion and creating power to the motor. On a 450, when we shift it over to the 250 motorcycle, it happens every other beat. So you have the compression cycle, then you have it goes back down, and then you have the ignition cycle, right. And then it clears it out. Which is why on a two-stroke, you are able to, I would say probably in all fairness, not quite twice the horsepower in like an optimal scenario, but you're going to get much more power out of a two-stroke.
Because it fires every time.
Every single time.
Every time it goes up.
Okay. And depending on how you've got the bike set up, it can produce considerably more power.
Yeah.
Not up to a full 2x.
Yeah.
But pretty
now,
close.
Is there a limitation then on the size of piston in a 50cc?
In a 50 or in a two-stroke?
Well, in a two-stroke, yeah, that's what I mean.
Well, in a 50cc, it's just defined by the
right. I meant a
displacement.
Two-stroke. Right.
Yeah, 50cc is bore and stroke. It's 50 cubic centimeters of displacement.
Okay.
But on a two-stroke, the largest single-cylinder two-stroke in production is called the Dr. Big.
Great name, Dr. Big.
The DR650, which is famous for being oh my gosh, I'm not sure how big it was. Either 700 or it was 750 cc's was the largest production.
Holy crap!
Single cylinder, two-stroke. In production, I'm sure there are bigger ones that people have done for various reasons, but
probably sounds insane.
Wait, is that right? No. The DR was the Dr. Big was just the biggest. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself, but basically, whether it's a 4-stroke or a 2-stroke, the largest single cylinder is about a 750.
Good grief.
If you get up to 750 in terms of 2 strokes, you can get multi-cylinders, but probably you're still going to be limited by that size.
Right.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
50 cc's are obviously little guys, and they're super easy to work on. They're super easy to repair. Over here I have another. Well, here's a cylinder. This is a 50cc cylinder, which this guy will fit inside of if I press the rings right.
So, and that's all. This is the head, just the head, right?
This is just the cylinder.
It literally fits in the palm of your hand.
Yeah. This is a 70cc Molossi. This is an aftermarket kit.
That's
so this
crazy.
is a little bit bigger, but it's not much bigger. Anyway, what I'm trying to say with this whole story about pistons is these guys, think about how many times they're firing every second.
Insane.
When you're revving one of these guys out. This is why we love motorcycles. This is why we love old cars. It's that throb of the vibrations that you get from an internal combustion engine. I don't really want to focus on the damages that you can do, but it's kind of fun to see. Like I call this my diorama of a. I don't think you all can see this, but there's actually a valve stuck
perfectly.
This is just the bottom of a valve landed in it, and it's stuck there. It looks like a diorama of like a flying saucer that landed on Earth.
just crash landed right into the middle of Wakarusa, Indiana.
Yeah. So anyway, before I get myself in any more trouble, that is a piston, and the piston is the heartbeat of your Janus motorcycle.
What's really cool to me about pistons, now that I'm looking at them, is that these little rings are able to keep all of the power.
It's all mechanical.
That's crazy. Limited to like the top of the piston and not like leak out of the.
We got to see some comments.
That's
go look
crazy.
at some comments. What are people saying about pistons?
Gary says the largest single-cylinder two-stroke motorcycle engine ever produced in relatively significant numbers was the Maiko 700 Enduro. The Maiko 700 Enduro features a 685cc two-stroke single-cylinder engine.
There you go. So, yes, the Dr. Big from Suzuki was a four-stroke.
Yeah.
But hypothetically, you could get up to around that 700cc mark with a two-stroke. The problem is just the amount of wear that a two-stroke is experiencing at that level. With a four-stroke, I think it was 700 or 750 with the Dr. Big.
It's like a pure mechanical limitation. It can't go any more because of the wear.
Wear and just the vibrations.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And then obviously when you start going out to more cylinders, you lower that.
Right. That makes sense.
And so you get like
higher power.
The CBX.
Yeah.
Like when you have 6 cylinders in line, and then you're able to balance the engine a little more.
Right.
But a thumper with a single cylinder, like what every Janus motorcycle is, up to date, it's one piston doing all the work.
That's cool.
450. In fact, 450 is really close. I mean, we're getting up there.
Yeah. That's cool. Carson says the only way you'll get some heartbeat out of an electric motor-driven device will be with the help of some installed Dolby surround sound.
What do you got to say? What do you got to say, Jansen?
I mean, listen, I don't. They've got their place. I think they're fun. They're super stupid fun, and you guys can't take that from me, no matter what your mean comments say. Okay.
We'll see about that.
He says, will that reduce your range if you're using that Dolby speaker? Could you change the sounds with the push of a button? Probably. Absolutely. There are some cars that generate manufactured engine noise, I'm pretty sure.
I've heard
in the interiors.
I've heard that Mustangs do that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the V6s.
So it's not just an electric car thing, okay?
No.
It would be crazy to put like engine sounds and try to say that this is real, to put engine sounds on an EV. That'd be nuts. That would be nuts.
It's like putting a card in your spokes on your bicycle.
And we all loved doing it. So maybe there's something there. I don't know. We're all about electricity in the comments right now. But yeah, no, I think going back to pistons, I think it's really cool just the ability to just the fact that this device came out of someone's brain at some point. Like, yep, this is what's going to create the power. This is what's going to run the engine. Like, that's wild to me that someone thought of this.
It really is. If you think about it, like, and we're still basically using the same technology.
Right. I'm
We've
sure
just gotten the metallurgy has gotten so much better.
Right.
And we've experienced it even with our own work at Janus, the difference between poor metallurgy and good metallurgy.
Right.
So it really does make a difference.
Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing all your show and
tell. There you go.
Thank you for bringing your show and tell. This is still my favorite. Every time I see it, I chuckle.
I love that.
If you guys are ever out at TT, if you ever get out here, I want you to, and
I hate to even like show a 250 piston that's going to damage like that because I have 2 of them, but it's because it's so rare.
Yeah.
They're so reliable. Like if I was going to take any one of our motorcycles and just like, I'm going to go ride to Alaska, I would take a 250.
Yeah.
If I didn't want to take any extra parts.
Right.
But occasionally some crazy stuff happens.
Right. And I think
and that's just motors. Like
right.
It's a very complex device.
Right.
Things can go wrong. And if they do,
you
should have a really simple device with only one of those pistons, so you only have to fix one.
Pop it out, put a new valve in, call it good.
We've done it on the road.
Yeah,
literally.
Really?
We have done it on the road.
That's crazy. No, I say that you guys should see this because the fit is so like perfect. It's very satisfying to put it
All right.
out.
Moving on.
We've got some announcements. I don't know if you want to handle this segment, Richard.
Yeah, sure.
This segment is brought to you by Janus Motorcycles.
This is brought to you by our marketing department with Grant Longenbaugh at the helm. We have a brand new YouTube influencer video posted today from Bug Moto. If you haven't checked it out, Bug Moto is a YouTuber who I'm a big fan of. I like his style. I like his panache. He talks while he's riding, like literally on the bike. And I think he rides mostly a Moto Guzzi, which earns instant street cred from me.
I saw it. That thing is sharp.
I was out of town when he came in. Unfortunately, I missed you, Bug. Dan, I'm sorry I missed you.
I kind of want one.
But he was riding. He's been riding all around the country. He got soaked, and he talked about it on his video. The video just came out, I believe, today. So please look up Bug Moto. I think the name. What is the name of the video? Go back to the.
I think it was something along the lines of like spending a day with
Janus Motorcycles. So it's pretty cool. It's a good little. If you're an outsider, come experience Janus Motorcycles.
Yeah, and I've gone ahead and posted the link in the chat, so you guys can check it out there.
Sweet.
Speaking
definitely check it out.
The chat, I'm saving my money. Please, please, please keep the Phoenix as an option.
Yes. So next on our announcements is that we have extended. We've extended the 10th anniversary for another month.
How long are we
extending it for?
July 31st. So yeah, another month.
Anniversary editions are extended. So you don't just have until the 4th of July to get yourself a 10th anniversary edition of either our Halcyon 250 or the Phoenix 250. If you're still trying to save up money or you just haven't convinced someone who's important in your life that it's really something you need to do, you can still do so. You still have another 30 days. We will be stopping this, though.
Yeah, it will come to a close.
I swear.
Will the Chrome option also be shut down? As far as we know.
As far as I know, we will be shutting it down. Money talks. So you'll have to work with Mitch if you want to get Super Chrome. I'm notoriously a fan of only offering what we have available. So you'll have to argue with me too.
Yes.
Next up, we have Fort Wayne Railroad event. This one sounds really, really cool. There's a steam locomotive in Fort Wayne, and we're going to be hanging out at the event on the train. You get to ride on a train. You get to smoke cigars, I think.
Yeah, I think some cigar smoking.
There's probably whiskey
some
involved.
Bourbon. Yeah.
Bourbon.
Sorry.
And what else? I think I or someone in my stead will be speaking.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really fun event.
You get to go on like a tour. You get to ride
at least an hour and a half long train ride.
Are we doing like a ride to the train station?
Yeah, I think they're driving from Fort Wayne up to like Auburn and back.
Okay.
Which is, Auburn, historic motor city of Indiana. If you're familiar with those Duesenberg, Auburn, Cord names. It should be really, really cool.
Yeah.
We will be there, and we look forward to seeing you all there as well. Yeah. And then next up, we have...
Let's clump these two together. Two
we're not going to... We have Rider Rot and Sturgis. So Sturgis, obviously, it's a big anniversary year. We're going to be there. But locally speaking, Rider Rot Motorcycle Show is it's the only motorcycle show that Janus Motorcycles has been a sponsor of for every single year. It's like I think it's the 11th year.
11 years running.
11 years running. We have sponsored it. We have supported it. I'm best friends with the guy who puts it on. It's in Fort Wayne, and it has grown from literally a parking lot with a couple of bikes to 300 plus motorcycles in Fort Wayne at a wonderful event. You should show up. It's on a Sunday.
This is Rider Rot, right?
Yeah, Rider Rot. Yeah. This is not me being like, I founded the Sturgis Motorcycle Show. No, I'm a big part of Rider Rot. It's a really fun show in Fort Wayne. If you're local, you should come. It's a lot of fun. Of course, if you're a Sturgis fan, you know what Sturgis is. We're going to be there again.
Motorcycles galore, hogs, Hogs everywhere.
And Janai.
And Janai. Less Janai than hogs. Just
And
on
we
a
will
statistic.
we will be at Sturgis for the entire 10 days.
And
we look forward to seeing all of you all and riding with you all in the Black Hills.
Sounds like a great time. Those are the announcements for today. So, I want to hear about the Phoenix 250 just a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we had, okay. Jonathan says, I'm saving money. Please, please, please keep the Phoenix as an option. Unfortunately, it will be gone. But I would like to hear some information about how it came to be.
Yeah.
This feels like a little burial rites again kind of thing of like, hey man, it's a great honor. It's good to know you. But you were telling me, Richard, that it was actually the first bike that you all had in mind.
Yes.
After the
well, you got to remember
50cc.
we started off with the Paragon.
Right.
So if y'all are not familiar, the Paragon was a moped. It was the only way that we would have started Janus Motorcycles was building. I should also mention that we've just released a video with Due. Actually, I don't know if it's actually released yet. If it's not released today, it'll be released tomorrow.
I just saw it pop up.
A video with, is it on?
It's not released yet.
It's not released. Okay. We will be releasing very shortly a video with our first employee. It's part of our 10th anniversary celebration with Due, who is our first employee. And he, in the talk we had with him, we go over like the transition from the 50cc to the 250. And the first bike that we would logically have come out with was a cafe racer. You got to remember, this is 2011 when we founded Janus Motorcycles.
Kind of when
cafe racer craze was in its most, like, maybe you could claim it was on the end of its swing. Yeah. I don't even think that. It was right in the height of it.
I think you were kind of like at the cusp then.
And so
the second time,
the first bike was the Paragon. It was a Moto G, like a GP 50cc racer inspired bike, which then I got captivated by board track racers, which were I felt like a more historically grounded version of a 50cc bikes. Like basically, if you take a 50cc GP bikes of the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, it's like a motorcycle pared down to the very bare minimum of what you can possibly imagine. It's completely built around like the motorcycle is important and it has to rev out to like 20,000 RPM. Mm-hmm. I'm just being insane because it's a two-stroke.
And sound
to pull
glorious.
The most power possible out of the lightest weight. But then you have the rider, and the rider has to fit on it. And so the bike is, so much of the bike design is based around fitting a rider to the machine and just like erasing all the extra details.
Yeah.
And so you get this like absolutely beautiful bikes. Look up Motobacane. Well, no, not Motobacane. Look up Garellis and Kreidlers from the 1970s, these 50cc bikes. But then if you take the same kind of mentality and you follow my train of thought, you're looking at 100 years earlier and looking at board track racers. And they're the same thing. It's like, how can we build a motorcycle that can go 100 miles an hour with the bare minimum? And they didn't even, I think some of the early board trackers, they didn't even have a throttle. It's just to speak nothing of brakes. They didn't have brakes. But imagine not even having a throttle. You just connect the electrical connection to be able to just
go.
It's gone.
You're
on
or
throttle.
You're off.
You're on or you're off. You're just going. And there's so much beauty to that. That's incredible.
Crazy.
It's just these beautiful machines. The form and function are perfectly paired. And so we were thinking about what we were going to do, and then somehow I sidetracked us on going board track versus 50cc GP bike.
Yeah.
But when we launched the 250, we're like, we're going to bring it back. Yeah. We're going to get back to the cafe racer, and we launched the Phoenix, which was kind of like, it's like literally, if you look at the Paragon, it's like a 250cc version of a 50cc Paragon.
Yeah.
And it's a what we call a cafe racer. And so a cafe racer, in my definition, is a long, low fuel tank, aluminum. It's a street bike that has been upped to fit the rider, and it's got low bars. It's a one term we've talked about is like a proto crotch rocket.
Yeah.
It's like before sport bikes, this is what you could do. Because
Right.
you got to remember, in like the 1950s and 60s, there were no sport bikes.
Yeah.
You had production standard motorcycles, which people converted to look like the GP versions that the factories were racing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people came out with like the Triumph or the Triumph Norton combo Trident, which is like the combination of all these different engine and chassis to make this sport bike. And then you have like, the Japanese influx, and they were able to like, you can buy what's very, very close to a race bike.
Yeah.
It's only in recent years that you can basically buy a Ducati Panigale, and it's like,
and it can rip your face off in 3 seconds if you're not paying attention.
But anyway, that was the basis of the Phoenix. The Phoenix, interestingly, didn't sell as well as the Halcyon, and that's not something that we intended. It was really just like people were captivated by the same sort of passion and love affair that I had with the older bikes and the history, I think.
Yeah.
And there may have been an aspect of what a cafe racer is. It's easier to take a stock bike and turn it into a cafe racer,
right,
than it is to take a stock bike and turn it into a board track racer. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. When I think of a cafe racer,
you can hardtail a bike, but you're regressing it.
Yes, you're taking it back. And I think that's a lot of when I think of a cafe racer, I think of taking something and turning it into a cafe racer, right? There's a process there, a process of elimination that you don't necessarily
delete
have.
Stuff.
Right.
That's literally all you do. You just delete things.
I'm going to make this again, it's speaking to kind of the ethos of Janus, right? Is I'm going to get exactly what is necessary for this activity. And
except with the Halcyon, we build stock. You literally, like, you can try taking some stuff off, but like, let's see if it runs.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So like, just like this ultra simplicity of it's this ultra simplicity and a callback to cafe racers, I think, a little bit. So when you try to supply a cafe racer to a community,
it's a little less unique.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's less unique. I mean, that Phoenix is very unique.
It's very unique, but it's
even in styling.
You can still remove stuff from the Phoenix.
Like what? The gas tank?
Rear suspension?
Yeah. Okay. Well, no one wants to remove. That's it. And maybe the airbox.
Yeah. So anyway, though, the Phoenix, we sold 79 Phoenix 250s in the first run, the whole first run, and we've just released the 10th anniversary, which it is literally a rebirth. We're making exactly the same bike again. We have done some minor updates, which you might appreciate in your rear end. The seat is going to be a little more comfortable, but it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
And if you've always hungered for a Phoenix 250, now is the time. I love the fact that the way Grant talked about the Phoenix.
Yeah.
He describes it. The Halcyon, you sit back and you see the handlebars, and it's wide, and it's just, it's everything you want in a motorcycle, in my opinion.
It's very comfortable.
The Phoenix, your body position is much more forward and low over the bars. The tank is narrower. You almost don't even see the motorcycle when you're riding it. And he describes it as like riding a bottle rocket. And I think that's a really good description.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it feels. It's of all three models, that's the one that I find myself kind of giggling on uncontrollably the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is when I was just ripping on that thing going.
It has rear suspension. I mean, like,
yeah, it's comfy.
It's a complete, and you can corner on it in a way that, because you have rear suspension, you can't corner on the Halcyon. I mean, you don't challenge me.
Right.
But with rear suspension, you can handle bumps better than without a rear suspension.
Right. Yeah, but I think it's a really fun motorcycle either way. I think it's more of a tribute to the cafe racer era as opposed to
absolutely.
being like a cafe racer. And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 250, so you're
Right.
not going to be doing the ton on it.
Right.
Hands, there's just no way in hell.
But I've never had more fun going 45 miles an hour on anything.
Everything that can be said of the Halcyon is true of the Phoenix
Yes.
in that sense. You have a blast
say
downshifting.
Yeah, it's a fun bike.
Remarkable machine.
It makes me giddy. It's just fun. Let's see. Arlsberg Clipper says, "Hi, how you doing? I don't think I've seen you in the stream." He says a true cafe racer can't be bought; it must be built. What do you think about that, Richard?
I agree. I mean, the essence of a cafe, absolutely. A cafe racer is of the whole purpose. You think about it like a chopper,
yeah,
or any kind of custom car. The definition of a cafe racer is a production bike that has been modified to fit the user's desires and needs. They may not actually need it, but they want it. It has to look, and so it's taking a stock bike and making it something different.
Right.
And so it's always a challenge for us at Janus because we're a production manufacturer. How do you make this bike? How do you describe something?
Right.
That just trying to capture that essence.
Right.
Because we're not trying to make a Yamaha, R6 or a Ducati, a bike that you can look at on MotoGP and then buy the street version of. The essence of this is coming out of this custom. The customer is taking a stock bike and then making something out of it.
Right.
And yeah, that's the essence
Phoenix
of a cafe racer.
Or the Phoenix 250 is a encapsulation, an attempt at encapsulating the feel and essence of an actual cafe racer.
Yeah, that's why I call it a proto. That's why I call it a proto sport bike.
Yeah,
that's the best term I've ever been able to come up with because it gives you that experience and I mean its ability to corner.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've actually ridden the Phoenix,
Gary Smith says the Phoenix 250 handles the best.
Yeah, I would agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you're working on the Halcyon. You instantly have what you could describe, if you're so inclined, as a handicap of not having rear suspension, which no one can deny is a handicap.
Yeah.
I would say that we've done a really good job of making it the best experience of motorcycling.
Right.
But when you have rear suspension, you don't have to worry about bumps in a corner.
Right.
Which is like the ultimate challenge of a hardtail is if you hit a bump in a corner when you're leaned over, that upsets the whole bike.
Right. Well,
and a Phoenix is able to accomplish that.
Yeah, and I think that's where the Phoenix kind of distinguishes itself outside of like seating position or anything like that. It's the ability to again capture the essence. I feel like a broken record at this point, but to capture the essence of a cafe racer or a sport bike and say like this is what it means to ride.
Gary says at one time it seemed that more Janus employees had a Phoenix 250 than any other model. That actually might still be true.
Jordan, Brent. Does Grant have one?
Brent has one. Two Brents have one.
Two Brents have one.
Grant has one. Yeah,
I would say that's true.
I know. Well, let's just say this. Kelly, who you all know, who's your pinstriper extraordinaire, is a Phoenix 250 fan to the death.
I'm surprised she didn't buy 33.
I am too.
As far as I was concerned, that was her bike.
Yeah. They're lovely machines.
Yes.
And we have the opportunity now. We're producing them. I'm really excited. We actually haven't built the first one yet. So we're gearing up. We've made some improvements to the seat cushion, which was a, let's just say, weakness of the comfort of the seat of the Phoenix was a problem, and we made some big improvements.
So again, you guys have 30 more days to go ahead and put a deposit on that. This feels very salesy, but Man, I love that bike. I don't know how else to say it. It's such a fun motorcycle to ride. So, thank you all so much for tuning in to Ramblestream number 80. Oh crap, 87.
87.
We'll see you guys next week for Ramblestream number 88, and I think we're going to be tackling the whole concept, or attempting to tackle the whole concept of American manufacturing. So
we got some homework to do.
yes,
I got some reading for you.
I'm so
Actually, I've
ready
got some
to
reading
read.
for all of y'all. If you haven't read Shop Class as Soulcraft, you should read it this week. Janus Motorcycles Ramblestream Book Club is recommending next week read Matthew B. Crawford's Shop Class as Soulcraft, because that's where it's at.
That's where it's at. So we'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. You know the drill. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye-bye.
Bye.